Let's talk about something every cat owner has wondered about. You know the moment you accidentally step on their tail, or maybe you have to shoo them off the kitchen counter for the 10th time. And what happens next? Nothing. Just silence. It feels like they're totally indifferent, right? Well, the common wisdom says cats just don't do apologies. But what if I told you they've been saying sorry to you all along?
And let's ask an even tougher question. What if, by not speaking their language, you're actually accidentally punishing them for trying to fix things between you? It's a pretty challenging thought, I know. But getting this right could completely change the bond you have with your cat. So here's the thing. Cats absolutely apologize. The problem is, a cat's apology looks nothing, and I mean nothing, like a human one. They use this quiet, subtle language of gestures and trust, and most of us are just completely missing the conversation because we're not tuned into the right channel.
Okay, so let's start with the apologies that are happening right under our noses, the signals we see all the time, but almost always get wrong. First step, the slow blink. We all know this one as the kitty kiss, a sign of affection. And yeah, when everything's calm and peaceful, that's exactly what it is. But after a conflict, it becomes something so much deeper. It's a deliberate, high-stakes peace offering.
Now, what's really incredible is the internal battle your cat is actually fighting in this moment. First, they sense the tension. Your voice gets sharp, your body gets stiff. Their survival instinct, that little amygdala in their brain, is just screaming at them to run to get away. But then, they make a conscious choice to override that instinct. They choose to stay. They choose to try and fix the connection with you. And how do they do it? By making themselves completely vulnerable. They willingly close their eyes in the face of what they perceive as a threat, you. That's way more than a kiss. That is a profound act of courage.
And this right here is why it is so critical that you return that slow blink. If you constantly ignore that little olive branch they're holding out, eventually they'll just stop. They won't get mad. They'll just give up. They'll go quiet. And you need to understand that that silence isn't peace. It's the sound of a cat who has finally learned that apologizing to you just isn't worth the effort.
Okay, next signal, the headbutt. You know, when they press their forehead against you? It's adorable, right? It feels affectionate, and we just assume it's their way of asking for a cuddle. But when it happens right after a tense moment, it is a highly intentional act of reconciliation.
The technical term for this is bunting. A cat's face is just packed with these little scent glands that release pheromones, which they use to mark their family and create a shared group scent. Now here's where it gets wild. When you're angry or stressed, your body chemistry literally changes. Your scent changes. To your cat, you suddenly smell wrong. You smell unfamiliar. It's like a chemical alarm bell telling them the bond has been damaged.
So, it's all about the timing. A headbutt that happens right after a fight is a targeted mission. Your cat is actively trying to overwrite your stress scent with their own familiar, comforting pheromones. They are remarking you as part of the family, basically saying, hey, let me fix this. Let me make you smell like you belong to us again. Let's be us. It's this deeply primal way of putting your relationship back in order.
All right, how about this one? You've just scolded your cat, and a few minutes later, you find their absolute favorite crinkly toy dropped right at your feet. And your first thought is probably, seriously, now is not the time to play. But what if they're not asking you to play at all?
This is such a great example of how differently we see the world. Animal behaviorists actually call this a reconciliation offering. Your cat is bringing you their most prized possession, their comfort object, their favorite toy, hoping that it will comfort you too. They are literally sacrificing their own treasure to try and soothe your distress. It's a genuine, heartfelt peace offering.
Now let's keep going, because these signals, they build on each other. They lead to these acts of apology that are just rooted in pure, raw vulnerability.
Have you ever been petting your cat after, a bit of a misunderstanding, and they suddenly start licking your hand with that rough, sandpaper tongue? We probably just write it off as another one of those weird cat quirks. But it's actually a powerful social tool, and it's designed specifically to de-escalate conflict. This is called allogrooming, and in the cat world, it is a huge deal. It is an intimate act reserved only for their most trusted companions. But here's the amazing science behind it. Studies have shown that allogrooming physically lowers the heart rates of both the groomer and the one being groomed. So when your cat licks you after a fight, they're using a biological mechanism to calm you down, which in turn calms them down too. It's basically a shared therapy session. And now we come to the most misunderstood gesture of all. You scold your cat, they walk a few feet away, and then they dramatically flop over, exposing their fluffy belly.
To us, this can look playful, or even worse, it can look defiant, like they're mocking you. The reality could not be more different. It is the polar opposite.
This is a cat's ultimate white flag of surrender. By exposing their stomach, they are showing you their vital organs, the most vulnerable part of their body. It is the physical embodiment of saying, I am not a threat, I submit, please let's just end this. It's the feline equivalent of a person putting their hands up in the air.
And this is where we get it wrong so often. We see that fluffy belly and our human instinct just screams, it's a trap, but I have to pet it. Then, when the cat grabs our hand, we feel betrayed. But they were never asking for a belly rub. Rubbing their belly in that moment is a violation of the incredible trust they just offered you. The correct response? It's simply to accept their surrender. Soften your voice, maybe kneel down, and offer a slow blink back. You're sending a very clear message. Truce accepted.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the most subtle and maybe the most moving apology in a cat's entire playbook. It's one that looks so much like our own behavior that we often don't even see it as a signal at all.
Behaviorists call this proximity maintenance. After a disagreement, you might notice your cat just appears. They're not meowing, they're not asking for anything, they're just sitting there, quietly, in the corner of the room you're in. For a creature that is naturally solitary, an animal that could easily just vanish into another room, the choice to stay near you, especially after there's been tension, is a massive, massive statement.
And if you really think about it, this is so incredibly human, isn't it? After an argument with someone we love, often the first step to making up isn't even talking. It's just being in the same room, making coffee while they read a book. It's this quiet, shared promise that says, I'm not going anywhere, I'll be right here until things feel right again. Your cat is speaking that exact same language.
So the next time you think your cat is being cold or aloof, maybe just look a little closer, listen a little harder. They might be trying to tell you they're sorry in the only ways they know how. And that really leaves us for the final thought. If we've been misinterpreting these conversations with our pets for so long, what other silent languages are we failing to understand? Not just with our animals, but with each other.